Good afternoon, First Presbyterian Church family. I hope this finds you well here this lovely day in October. It is October 7th. Last week, I was in Washington State. As some of you know, tracked me on Facebook. I ended up flying out early, 8 o'clock, but still early Monday morning because of a mechanical issue, and actually stayed at the Super 8 in Bedford, compliments of American Airlines. So my late flight on Sunday became an early flight on Monday, and arrived there at the Spokane airport and met a couple of the pastors there in my covenant group at the airport. Our flights were coming in about the same time. Mine actually come in earlier, but I was meeting another person to take him up to the lodge. I'd rented a car, and we did that. And so just had a great time visiting and catching up. We traditionally meet in April of the year. I've been meeting with this group since 2014. I did not meet in 2018. I did not meet with them simply because we were transitioning. And that was actually the time that we found our house and was working all kinds of paperwork to make all that happen. So 2019, I regrouped with them and eagerly anticipated our 2020 gathering. And of course, as we all know, everything got thrown out the window in 2020. And so this was our third attempt to regroup, and we'll hope to get back. We'll be getting back on the April meeting schedule going forward, barring any unforeseen disasters. So anyway, it was great to be there. And my first time in the Pacific Northwest, my first time in Washington State, state number 40 for me. And beautiful, beautiful area. Spokane, it's more it's not mountains per se. It is, I think, it's more like foothills of the Rockies. I think that's a better way to put it. Foothills of the Rockies. So it's very, very hilly. Small mountains, very, very hilly. Later, after we concluded my time with them, some groups stayed an extra day, as I usually do, but this time I opted not to take the extra day. And I drove across Washington State, an 8-hour drive. And really the middle of Washington State, it's kind of like West Texas meets East Colorado. And wide open spaces, and the fields are everywhere. And maybe every 60 miles there's a town of any sorts. But drove across. It was dark by the time I went over the interstate, over the Cascades. But eventually ended up on the Olympic Peninsula. And did a turnaround visit with my father's one of his first cousins, and one that person that I have been in touch with over the years, only seeing a handful of times. What was good about that, of course, visiting with family, but also an opportunity to discuss our stories. There are things that she knew, that I knew, and often an event happened, and not everybody had all the information at the time. And just a good time to discuss, besides seeing the countryside and just getting to know each other better. It was funny at one point at the end, she talked about there was, I think, a hymn book or something that some of the children had put their names into it. And then my great-grandmother Doughton had written up at the top, "These are my people." You claim them. Yeah, even if they put their names in the hymn book, you claim them. And that was that sense. In the end, we are Doughtons, and that's a whole other story. And these are my people. While we were there, the minister types, our time at the Davis Lodge, we gathered for worship, sang songs of praise like God of Wonders, that goes, Lord of all creation, Lord of water, earth, and sky. The heavens are your tabernacle. Glory to the Lord on high. And God of wonders, beyond our galaxy, you are holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, Lord of heaven and earth. So early in the morning I will celebrate the light. As I stumble in the darkness, I will call your name by night. God of wonders, beyond our galaxy, you are holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, Lord of heaven and earth. Lord of heaven and earth. And how great is our God? The splendor of a king clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in the light, a darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. We would look at Scripture, Psalm 8, O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens, as well as prayers of confession in our time of worship and of time of supplication. It was just a good time to be together. Of course, coming back this week, I have been scrambling, getting back on track. And yes, took time with the family yesterday to enjoy the State Fair of Texas. I'm so glad that it's back. It is really fun, y'all. And I wouldn't mind going back again. Just give me the money and I'll go back again. It's been a good week. This Sunday, we have a congregational meeting, and I want to speak to that. First, we are electing a class of officers, a class up to the session. We are electing another trustee, and we're electing a class of deacons. We have 3 deacons who will serve the 3-year term. We have 1 young man who will be serving a 1-year term as a youth deacon, but still a voting deacon. We have 2 open slots for the board, and this could be that the Lord is directing us, and this is 3 people have sensed that call to serve, and they'll serve, and it'll be good. If you know of someone who you think would be a good deacon, and speak with them, bring their name forward, and make sure it's with their permission, and we can vote on that this Sunday. The ballots will be prepared for that. But if it's 3, it's 3. My plan, and I use that word with quotation marks, after all, even though we're really on the backside of the pandemic, is going into the new year that the officers will meet separately. There will be 1 night for the deacons to meet, 1 night for the session to meet, and we'll become more proactive in our planning and the committee work and just getting those basic things done. That is my hope, my dream for 2022. We'll currently continue to meet one body together, but we will meet separately again in the coming year, and really working with both bodies to kind of operate in a post-COVID world, or at least I'm going to say just post-COVID world. The things around us, but to be able to operate in that way. There's a second matter we're voting on, and I want to make that clear that this is a matter for the congregation to vote. It's the sale of property behind the church. An email will later go out emphasizing this point with some information. There are 2 acres behind the former manse. Now, it ends about 10 feet behind the manse backyard. So 10 feet of property, that's just the woods, and then you get to the fence of the manse, and then the manse. All that remains with the church if the sale goes through. The 2 acres are the back 2 acres. The Open Door Baptist Church has need of it, in part to develop on it as they're expanding their plant, but also to go to a certain height. They have to have property behind them that is theirs. That is a city mandate. That discussion began this past summer when the pastor of the church approached me, and I spoke with our property task force. The property task force that's meeting with back at the church property. That's a whole another piece there. It's not the group that's working with Wilbanks Hall, but a property task force that was exploring how we could better take care of the backside of the church. That one group was actually formed in February of 2020, and then the pandemic hit. But that was the logical group to approach. So the back of the church property task force was approached with Meg Garver-Hamilton representing the session, John Cusewit, member at large, David Howard as chair of property and a deacon, as well as George Venner and Don Neese, 2 of our trustees representing the property interests. We as a group met with Reverend Pittman of Open Door Baptist and 2 of their members. We saw the charts. I was in touch with Presbytery. What is the policy here? They have given us guidance. And so this is where we stand. The session has approved a sale. They will pay us, the church, Open Door Church will pay us $30,000. They will cover all the expenses to buy that property. The session has approved it, but we're looking for an approval by the congregation. You will have that opportunity to vote yes or no to the sale of that. If the way be clear and the congregation approves, this will go to our Presbytery office, and Karen Ebling, who is the property manager of the Presbytery, will prepare the contract. And members, delegates of this church, our trustees, there will be 2 of our trustees, and our clerk of session will sign on behalf of First Presbyterian, and representatives will sign on behalf of the Open Door Baptist Church. Then a title company will be contacted. A survey will be done of the property, and we can close. And this may be just with the timeline. I think the survey may take a while. We may actually not formally close until the beginning, really into early 2022, when all that will come to pass. There are some home improvement projects, some capital improvements on the buildings and grounds here, and the property committee will oversee that. These are projects that are the usual upkeep. It's nothing extraordinary, like the repair of the Wilbanks Hall. There's nothing extraordinary here. So this is under the jurisdiction of the property committee, and they will oversee a series of improvements we want to do in the coming year, and you'll be kept updated with that. But that's where the money will go. Oh, I also needed to mention in that timeline that the Board of Trustees of the Presbytery will ultimately approve this in due course. And that would be after we've approved, if the way be clear, and we've approved it here, and the contract's written and the contract's signed, and then the Board of Trustees will review it and moving that along. So again, Presbytery is out there representing our interests, has been giving us counsel in this process. Again, just want to make it clear that this Sunday, you'll have that opportunity to vote up or down during the congregational meeting. We will share information. An email will be going out between the time I record this and Saturday. An email will go out with information as well, so you can be well informed. Some of you already know about this, just discussions that we've had. This has been openly discussed in our session meetings and deacons meetings since the summer, since this first began. We have regularly been updating those bodies on this. So when they session voted, the deacons gave their advice and advised to go forward with it. They've been very well informed. And again, people have talked, but not everybody knows. So I just want to make it very clear. It's been in the bulletin, but make it very, very clear that this is an opportunity and a need for the congregation to approve this sale for us to go forward. If it's not approved, that ends it right there. If you have any questions, feel free to bring them to me on Sunday or even contact me over the weekend. I wish you well, and next Thursday I will return to our usual format after a 2-week break as we slowly go through Galatians. My hope is to finish this up by the end of this month, or at least by Thanksgiving, and then we'll go into a series of Advent reflections. Again, I hope this finds you well, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Thanks.